Also around 1200, the Inca people established themselves in the Andean highlands. And among the subgroups, the Calawea people were associated as being a healing tribe. And their song and dance includes the Kantu music of multiple panpipes accompanied by drums. And we have one wonderful selection here for you. Here's the beginning of the notation of this piece. Kuntirimunapak. And the notator has written this in 1/4 time. And I think the notion was to keep all the beats equal, but let's think about that. Anytime you have, for instance, things like that, see that, the eighth notes there? Anytime you have eighth notes followed by a quarter note, dum, 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 I think you're inevitably going to have, with that short, short, long, you're going to emphasize the long. So let us propose that every time you get the short, short, long, that long is a downbeat. That would mean we've actually, and I've put some pencil marks in, we've got larger measures, 5/4, 4/4, 4/4, 4/4. And each of these subdivisions is really subsidiary melodies, little a, little b, little c, little d. And let's head to the piano to parse this a little more thoroughly, shall we? So the root scale of this panpipe piece, which is done in a Hocketing fashion, there are several panpipes that are producing the variety of notes in several octaves too, but we'll get to that in a second. But basically it's a C-sharp minor pentatonic scale as do, mi, fa, sol, te, do. And we'll get a few more pitches in there too, but all in good time. The first phrase is, this is a 3-part piece, large A, large B, large C, and then the whole thing repeats twice, but in our example recording we're only going to do it once because that's how much time we have. So this large A section has 4 small divisions, call them little a, little b, little c, little d, and little a starts with a so-do and outlines a second inversion minor triad as so, do, do, and let's get the rhythm. So, do, do, me, do, do, te, do, do, te, te. So we only have 4 pitches there, tetratonic so far. Syncopation is very wonderful, right? We have things off the beat. We've got the, in the 1E and a 2E and a system of 4 little 16th notes, 1 E and the first time other than that initial downbeat where you have another impulse is the 1 E and the of the beat, anticipating the next downbeat, going to do. And then 1 E, the E, syncopation, accenting the wrong syllable, right, is the next impulse of the C sharp, and then the E coming on finally on 1 E and the second measure there. All right, that's the first idea. Second idea is like this. This is the little b, and it's so, te, te, do, do, te, te, so, te, fa, and we finally get our whole pentatonic collection with that fa there. Here is little c going right on, me, me. There's a triplet in this one, and it's do, me, fa, which is very blues, don't you think? And back to so, 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 te, te, fa. Absolutely. And then here's the final 4 beat collection. And me, me, fa, re. It's the first time I've had a re, and that makes it hexatonic. And we expect a do on the downbeat. We get it on an upbeat, and we also get it an octave up on a syncopated coming on the 1 E and of the next little thing. Nice. And once again, if we're using that 8th note rhythm as being the end of each measure, we got a measure 3/4, a measure of 5/4. Okay, that could be 4/4 plus 4/4, but we're going to go with these 8th note divisions. And it makes sense with the subdivisions of the musical motifs as well. Then we've got a 4/4 bar and another 4/4 bar, and then splaying across here, another 4/4 bar. This is the first ending, it's going to go back, and then the second ending. That second ending, more to tell there. You might notice we have this climbing blues thing as before, so I'm going to call this a variant of little c. this, since it has this te and the do and the high may falling down, I'm calling that a variant of A. Then this is little b coming back exactly the same. This is little c coming back the same. And this is little d coming back the same. And the first time it's going to be exact. The second time it's going to be truncated off. And notice that does imply some sort of division there. And then it goes immediately to the C section there. Oh, that's the large C. It sounds rather medical, doesn't it? All right. There is a feeling overall, if you're not looking at the score, that what we've established in the beginning of the piece, a large phrase, 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, in the second thematic area, it just feels like an expansion. It's almost like somebody who's telling a wonderful story and they're just rambling on in a very cool fashion. Because of the skippage, shall we say, the jumping over the second time through here to the second ending, this is an elision, elided phrases, so that you have a fragment of B going right on to the big C, and this is, I'm going to go for a second variant of A. I'm going to call this A prime. And why am I saying that? Well, we've outlined a minor triad again, but now not in second inversion, but just root position. And it's also the rhythms that we associate with the little A melody, which we have not heard in its original form ever again. Notice we have little repetitions of B, C, and D, but A is constantly varied. Very nice. And we'll say this is the continuance of that A variation. And then, look at that. That is D again, but it's a fragment version of D because we're going to pick up and go back. And then the second time it's going to be a literal D because we're going to skip over to that second ending. So again, if you're just listening to the piece, you may just perceive that every time you hear this phrase, this is kind of a closure. And the fact that we didn't get this the second time around here, the effect, I think, of the listener is that this is a third section that just goes on and on and on, and then finally comes to a conclusion. Now let's talk harmony. This is the same as the opening A section, but now instead of giving you just the melodic statement and the rhythm, we've abandoned the rhythm for harmony. And sum it a gun if the harmony is not all in octaves and fourths. You can say between this is a so, do, so, and of course the upper do, so, and is this not, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen in the harmony of other regions of the Middle Ages, right? The earliest harmony that we found from the Musica in Kyriades, where we just had parallel harmony on the fourths and fifths, and you're getting both here, and octaves. Talk about having your cake and eating it. So we've got that, and it's going to jump up to here. And I'm not doing quite the funky syncopated rhythm as I should, but just to give you this sense. Notice when we go up here, the harmony gives us yet another pitch that we have not heard. That is the A of what has now unfolded. You recall we had a pentatonic scale, but now that pentatonic scale became hexatonic because we had do, re added at the very end. And by the way, that D sharp, that re, only happens as kind of a signal for the end of all three sections of this music. Talk about a rational construction, and yet in the context of something that feels very free. Then there's me, fa, so. This lay only appears in the harmony, never in the melody. And because of that, the harmony in fifths never has a danger of coming into that nasty tritone situation. They're always the perfect fifths below. Excellent. recounting a busy day amongst the Fulani in Nigeria with a lot of so, do, and eventually do, so. And there's a little me in there, so unfolding a major triad. Ghana tribe is on the move, migrating towards the present location of the nation of Ghana, with lots of syncopated rhythms here on elephant head drums. Doom, 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 doom. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, a talking drum in ensemble amongst the Dagomba people in Nigeria. By now, Islam has made it to most of Indonesia, but not Bali. But we're in Java, and the gamelan music to this day is a little more mellow than in Bali, and very closely associated with dance. Calotonic levels of activity, as we heard in Bali, meaning the lower the pitches, the slower they go by. Back to France for a Jaws harp from Thibaut Navarre. Well, it's supposed to be a metal bit of plectrum that is plucked by the mouth, but it's the same principle as the musical bow. Heard here in consort with a 7-hole flute. And finally, the ominousness of the Dies Irae chant, attributed to Thomas of Celano, and this is from the Requiem Mass, the Day of Wrath and Destruction. It is poetic, 3 rhymed couplets as it goes along, and solfege, the definitive D Dorian. Me, re, me, do, re, te, do, do. Me, fa, me, re, do, te, re, do. And this will be troped numerous times to the present day. We will watch and listen for it. Dies irae, dies ira, salve segum in favilla, teste David consibila, quantus tremores futurus, quando iudex est venturus, cum da stricte discussus, tu barbirum spara,
per sepulcra region, cogere omnes ante trono, mors stupebite et natura, cum resurget creatura, iudicanti responsura, nire scriptus proferetur, in totum continetur, unde mundus judicetur,